Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Sangeeta Negi from Department of Biotechnology, MNNIT, Allahabad. Today we are going to talk on module monosaccharides from paper Structure and Functions of Biomolecules 1. Today's lecture is comprised of basic structures of monosaccharides, isomerism of their open chain structure, detailed classification, and their chemical and physical properties. We will also going to learn about various sources of them. Further, we will describe about the structure and functions of their derivatives in various cells functionings. Well, the term monosaccharides has been originated from Greek words. Monos means single and saccharine means sugar. They are simplest basic unit of carbohydrates and which cannot further hydrolyzed. They are main constituents of disaccharides and polysaccharides and are generally colorless, water soluble, sweet in taste and form crystals. Monosaccharides are basically linear and unbranched with carbon backbone having one aldehyde or ketone as functional group and one hydroxyl group on rest of the carbon atoms. Therefore, molecular formula of monosaccharides can be written as C6H2O to the power 6. The nomenclature of monosaccharides are very simple and they depend basically how many carbon atoms are present in that. So, monosaccharide may exist in both open chain or ring forms. In nomenclature for open chain monosaccharides, a Greek prefix tri, tetra, penta, hex, etc. is used. That indicates a number of carbon present in that monosaccharide and with the suffix "-ose" for the aldoses or "-ulose" for ketoses. For example, triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose, heptose, etc. for of aldoses and triuloses, tetruloses, pentuloses, hexuloses, heptulose of ketoses, etc. depending on the number of carbon. When there are 3 carbon, then is the triose in aldoses. When there are 4 carbon, then it is tetroses, like that. In case of ketosis, if the carbonyl is not present at the second position, that is normal, then its position is denoted by numeric infix. For example, pent-3-ulose. So, we can classify the monosaccharide on the basis of stereoisomerism because they are the simplest one. So, they present and they are having more than 3 carbon atoms. More than 2 means they start from the 3. So, the carbon is having a sp3 hybridization and have 4 bonds or 4 arms to bind with different atoms. If all 4 arms are bonded with a different carbon atom, then it is a chiral carbon and it will show the stereospecificity. Number of stereoisomerism, number of stereoisomers of monosaccharides would be equal to 2 to the power n, where n is number of chiral atoms. In aldoses, functional group is carbonyl group present at C1 position, whereas in ketosis, functional group present is at C2 position. Hence, number of stereoisomers of aldoses are more than ketosis. Therefore, there are 2, 4, 8 and 16 possible stereoisomers of trioses, tetroses, pentoses and hexoses respectively. When 2 isomers when two stereoisomers present in optically active like D and L forms and are mirror images of each other, then they term as enantiomers. Well, we can see in figure 1, it is example of mirror image of two molecules. Here, molecule that is a glyceraldehyde, which is having 4 different carbon atom, different groups attached at the center carbon atom, and they are mirror images of each other. That's why they are stereoisomers and enantiomers of each other. Whereas in figure 2, the complete configuration is shown in the different color, with using different color. So we can say when these molecules are mirror images of each other, then they are known as enantiomers. Whereas when they are same at the farthest carbon atom, then they are not the enantiomers, they are epimers of each other, because they are not mirror images of each other. For example, when D-ribose and D-arabinose, they differ in the configuration at C1 position only. That's why they are epimer of each other. Well, students, in figure 3, it shows the structure and relation of D-aldoses. The numbering of carbon atom in monosaccharide is done from the end of the carbonyl carbon. It can be observed that depending on the number of asymmetric carbon atom present in the monosaccharide, the number of stereoisomers differ. For example, in triose, only one chiral carbon atom is present. Therefore, there are only 2 stereoisomers are present. One is D-glyceraldehyde and another one is L-glyceraldehyde. Whereas in trioses, there are 2 chiral carbon atoms. Therefore, they are having 4 stereoisomers. And whereas in pentoses, number of chiral atoms are 3, which gives 8 stereoisomers. In 4 in D series and 4 in L series. And D-ribose is one of the example of pentose, which is important part of DNA and RNA structure. In case of hexoses, there are 4 chiral centers, which gives 16 stereoisomers, 8 in D series and 8 in L series. D-glucose, D-galactose and D-mannose are stereoisomers of each other, but they differ in configuration at C4 and C2 position respectively. Therefore, they are termed as epimers of each other. That means glucose and galactose are epimer of each other with respect to C4 carbon atom, whereas glucose and mannose are epimers of each other with respect to C2 carbon atom, because their configuration are different at these carbon atom. So in figure 3, we can see there are 8 stereoisomers in D series, which are D-allose, D-altrose, D-glucose, D-mannose, D-gulose, D-idose, D-galactose and D-talose, and 8 in L series. The same manner, L-allose, L-altrose, L-glucose, L-mannose, L-gulose, L-idose, L-galactose and L-talose. Whereas in ketosis, number of stereoisomers are lesser than aldolases, because the number of chiral centers are lesser in ketosis. Dihydroxyacetone is the simplest form of ketosis. It is shown in figure 4 and do not have any stereoisomers because there is no chiral atom present in it. Fructose is one of the most abundant sugar and sweetest in nature. Detail of stereoisomers, forms of ketosis, and relations in between are shown in figure 5. We can see this dihydroxyketone, which is now not considered as carbohydrate because it don't have any chiral carbon atom. And then we can see there is no stereoisomers of dihydroxyacetone. And in the tetralosis, there is one chiral carbon atom. Therefore, it has two stereoisomers, D-erythrulose and L-erythrulose. Whereas in pentalosis, there are two chiral atoms, chiral centers. Therefore, there are four stereoisomers of pentalosis, two in D series and two in L series. In D series, there is a D-ribulose and D-xylulose, whereas in L series, it is L-ribulose and L-xylulose. And in hexuloses, there are three chiral carbon atoms. So therefore, it is having 8 stereoisomers, 4 in D series and 4 in L series. In D series, there are psychose, fructose, sorbose, and tagatose. And in L series, like same. As discussed above, the basic classification of monosaccharides according to the number of carbon atom present, which shall be now discussed further in detail in the next chapter. Well, students, let's talk about the sources of monosaccharides, from where we can get monosaccharides or where they are present. Basically, most of the monosaccharides are present in fruits and cereals and food grains. So let's talk one by one about the few most important monosaccharides or most occurring monosaccharides. First is fructose. Fructose, as it is term, fructose means it is from the sugars, fruits. It's from the fruits. So main sources of the fructose are flower nectars, honey, all juicy fruits, citrus fruits, cherries, berries, etc. And dry fruits also contains fructose, and they are present in dry fruits in concentrated amount. Honey is mostly fructose because honey is made up of the nectar which is coming from the flowers. And vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, beans, onion and tomato etc. also contains fructose, but in lesser content. And when we talk about the glucose, which is present in whole foods, and they serve as sweeteners, and the richest source of monosaccharides are our whole grains, or basically our whole food is composed of glucose. And let's talk about D-galactose. D-galactose is very important and it is basically rich in dairy products like milk, butter, sour cream, ice cream, yogurt and other dairy products. Basically, the dairy products contains lactose, not galactose, because lactose is made up of glucose and galactose. After the hydrolysis, lactose breaks down into glucose and galactose. The other main sources of galactose are beans, lentils, chickpeas, and sugar beets. And aromanose is also important monosaccharides which is present in gums, wheat bran. And D-ribose is present in all living cells in the form of ribonucleic acids like RNA and DNA. And D-gylose, it is present in corn kernels, seed hulls, and stalk. And D-ribulose, which is one of the derivative and intermediate of photosynthesis. 2-deoxy-D-ribose is a constituent of DNA. D-mannose is present in seeds, ivory nuts, etc., whereas L-fucose present in marine algae and seaweeds. L-raffinose is present in poison ivy blossoms, oak bark, etc., whereas D-manohaptulose present in avocado and D-altrohaptulose present in various plants, whereas pseudohaptulose, which is a pseudo sugar, generally it is having 7 carbon atom, that is the intermediate in the lipid synthesis. Tagatose is a dairy product, and nowadays tagatose is the alternative sugar for a diabetic patient because it is not increasing the blood sugar level. And D-cyclose is very much present in wheat cereals. And sorbose, which is an intermediate of vitamin C biosynthesis and generally occur in all citrus foods. Erythrose, naturally present in all naturally occurring natural plants. Well, let's know about the physicochemical properties of monosaccharides. Most of the monosaccharides are crystalline solids at room temperature and on other hand quite soluble in water, as all are having several OH groups. Therefore, they readily make the hydrogen bonding with each other. That's why they are very soluble in solvent system. And chemical properties and nature totally depends on their functional groups. One of the most important reaction of them is the oxidation of the free carbonyl group present in aldoses. Means in presence of aldehyde, Benedict reagent which contains copper sulfate or Tollens reagent produces a red copper or silver precipitate. In this slide we can see the reducing group of the aldehyde, that is CHO, which react with the Tollens reagent and give a precipitate of silver and carboxylate anions. And as well they also react with the Benedict reagent, which is blue in solution having a copper ions. The aldose, which is having a reducing sugar, that reduces this copper citrate and the copper oxide, which is brick red in color, precipitated out. Therefore, determination of concentration of reducing sugar is being done by the Tollens and Benedict reagent. The concentration of sugar in the blood also can be analyzed or determined by the DNS method, which is also based on this principle that the reducing sugar which is having a free aldehyde group. Well, as you know, sugars play a very important role in various cell functioning. Therefore, to diversify their functions and structure, various sugar derivatives are present in cells. Because sugar possesses many OH groups, therefore, on replacing these with other functional or reactive groups such as hydrogen, amino group NS2, N-acetyl, CS2OH, chlorides, phosphates, and methyl, etc. They form substituted sugars or derivative sugars like deoxyribose, amino sugars, N-acetylglucosamine, chitin, glucose 6-phosphate, etc. The most common transformed sugars are D-glucosamine and D-galactosamine. In both OH group of second carbon is replaced by amino group. On acetylation, they give N-acetyl sugars, N-acetylglucosamine and N-acetylgalactosamine, which are components of the bacterial cell wall. Well, students, in this figure, various examples of substituted sugars or sugar derivatives are shown. In first example, this is the 2-deoxy-D-ribose. In this second carbon, at the second carbon, OH group has been replaced by H atom. So it's become a deoxy-D-ribose, which is present in DNA. And when the OH group at C2 position is present, DNA cannot fold. So it is a RNA molecule where this ribose molecule is present. But to give a different functionality to the DNA, the second position has been derivatized in this form. So the various groups are formed due to the presence of this deoxy-D-ribose acid. And in second example, that is D-epiose, where the C3 at the C3 position, OH group has been replaced with CS2OH. So its functionality has been totally changed due to this presence of CS2OH. And in third example, that is L-donosomine, where the sugar is present in the cyclic form, and at the C3 position, the OH group has been replaced by amino group. So it is giving different chemical nature to this compound and hence different functionality. Well, students, let's talk about slight details of few very important monosaccharides like ribose. Ribose and its derivative deoxyribose are a structural part of DNA, RNA, ATP, FMN, NADH, and NADPH. In deoxyribose, lack of OH at C2 position supports the proper coiling of DNA due to less steric hindrance. It also serves as building blocks for some amino acid synthesis and other chemical critical to living beings. And another important one is xylose. Xylose is another well-abundant aldopentose sugar and one of the main components of wood. It has chemical formula of C5H10O5. Xylose is found in the embryos of most of the edible plants. Xylene is a polymer of xylose and constitute about 20 to 30% of lignocellulosic part of plant cell wall. And very important monosaccharide is glucose. As we know, glucose is most common carbohydrate and is reducing in nature due to presence of free aldehyde group. In living being, it is the main source of energy. The name originated from the Greek word glycis, which means sweet, and suffix -ose, which denotes the sugar. It is synthesized through photosynthesis in plants and used by other prokaryotes and eukaryotes through respiration for energy generation. There is a constant need of sugar in living beings, and its concentration is maintained in blood as 65 to 110 mg per ml in human beings. Increased amount of sugar, glucose, is pathetic condition known as diabetic mellitus. And we have discussed earlier that it shows two stereoisomers series D and L. However, only D-glucose is biologically active, as L-glucose cannot be metabolized through glycolysis. Glucose units on polymerization give rise to polysaccharides like glycogen, starch, and cellulose. It is stored as glycogen in animals and in the form of starch in plants for future use of energy. And it is present in the form of cellulose, which acts as structural support and protects the plant cell wall. Another very important monosaccharide is galactose, which is a epimer of glucose, differ in configuration at C4 position. It is less sweeter than glucose and less soluble in water. It is found in peas abundantly. It is a constituent of glycolipid and glycoproteins. Galactose is more commonly found in disaccharides, lactose, or milk sugar. Galactose is a part of nerve and brain biochemicals, hence milk is essential for infants. And fructose is another very common and important sugar which is used in daily, which is consumed in daily as a daily food. Fructose is most common ketose sugar and has reducing nature also due to the presence of free ketonic group. It reduces the various reagents. It is another important sugar present in blood like glucose and galactose. Fructose with glucose on dimerization gives rise to sucrose, a common table sugar. Fructose is sweetest in nature amongst naturally occurring sugar. It is present in fruit juices, honey, beets, etc. It is main source of energy for spermatozoa. So, well students, let's revise in a quick way what we have learned yet. First thing we learned that monosaccharides are aldehydes and ketones with two or more hydroxyl groups and classified on the basis of number of carbon atoms present. They are crystalline solids, water soluble and sweet in nature. Monosaccharides with chiral carbons shows stereoisomerism as well as enantiomerism. They are stored as energy in the form of glycogen and starch, polymers of glucose in animal and plants respectively. In the form of cellulose, polymer of glucose, and chitin, which is polymer of derivative sugars. They provide structural stability and strengthen the structure of living cells. Ribose and aldopentose link to purines and pyridines with O-glycosidic bond give rise DNA and RNA, whereas phosphorylated sugars are important metabolic intermediates. Nucleoside diphosphate sugar like UDP glucose are reactive intermediates and the synthesis of nearly all glycosidic bonds between sugars. They are well available in all vegetables, fruits and various plants.